This property made $137,000 on Airbnb last year. But what's even more impressive is that it made $8,000 more than these two nearly identical listings combined. So why is it that this property made so much money while other hosts struggled to compete? There are 4 main reasons, but the vast majority comes down to the 4th reason that I'll share with you at the end. For starters, the owners did a great job of turning the property into an experience for guests. Instead of only adding basic furniture, the host went above and beyond and even themed some of the rooms. Thoughtful design is an absolute must, especially in a competitive market like this. Putting in the effort to make your property stand out from the competition can be game-changing. Don't believe me? Take a look at this listing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It went from making $149,000 in 2022 to making over $300,000 only 1 year later. The secret? They worked with Summer-led designs to redesign their space. As critical as it is to have a well-designed space, good design alone does not guarantee success. In fact, this property's design played a pretty small role in why it outperformed its competition. One of its competitors actually had great design as well. So if it wasn't great design, then what was it? Well, the owners also did a great job with their amenities. The host made sure that guests had amenities like a game room and a pool in the backyard. By doing so, these hosts gave their guests tons of reasons to book their place for their next vacation. Taking the time to research the amenities that guests actually want is critical, because adding those amenities to your listing will dramatically increase demand. But again, their competitor also had a game room and a pool, and even some other great amenities like a movie room and an EV charging station. So if it wasn't the amenities that made such a huge difference, then what could it be? Well, on closer inspection, the host also had incredible photos. The photos are well lit, taken from good angles, and they showcase the property really well. Like I always say, your photos are the single most important piece of your listing. If you've got crappy photos, no one's going to bother to click, let alone book your listing. Having great photos allows you to stand out from the competition, and these hosts did a lot of things right. But wait, this listing had arguably even better photos, and it still made almost $63,000 less in bookings. So what on earth could it be? If it wasn't the design, and it wasn't the amenities, and it wasn't the photography, then what was it? Before I tell you what it was, let me first tell you about why you should join B&B Tribe. B&B Tribe is a community of short-term rental hosts, co-hosts, and investors. We've got hosts like Andrew over in New Zealand, who launched a property and instantly started crushing it. And hosts like Michael, who manages 13 properties up in Seattle. And hosts like Joanna, who's crushing it with 3 listings over in Hawaii. In fact, B&B Tribe is such an awesome community that you can join, try it out, and if you don't absolutely love it in the first 30 days, you can send me an email and get a full refund with no questions asked. B&B Tribe includes awesome training that'll help you to avoid making mistakes so that you won't be losing thousands of dollars like these hosts. It's literally zero risk, and you can join right now at the link in the description below. Now, back to the real reason this listing generated over $8,000 more than the other 2 listings combined. In one word, pricing. You see, when we dig even deeper into the data, we find something really interesting. These 2 lower performing properties made completely opposite but equally devastating mistakes. On one hand, this property achieved a 100% occupancy rate, but to do so, they had to drastically lower their nightly rate. So their average nightly rate across the entire year was only $162 for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom property that sleeps up to 8 people. That price is really low. With 8 people in the property, that works out to a cost of only $20 per person per night. And this is a mistake that I see hosts make all the time. They panic any time that their calendar isn't completely booked and then start to lower their rates. The problem with this is that although it may look like you're doing well, you're actually losing a lot of money. Even though you're fully booked, in reality, you're typically leaving thousands of dollars on the table by undercutting your rates. In this case, the host missed out on over $80,000 in potential revenue. Yikes. Now, over here, we have this host who had an average nightly rate of $521. That's more than 3 times higher. And although that's definitely a move in the right direction, it was actually an overcorrection, because in spite of their high nightly rate, they actually ended up with a low occupancy rate of just 49%. This means their property sat completely empty more than half of the year, and the end result, only $74,000 in bookings for the year. Compare that to the $137,000 that their competitor made, and you'll quickly see just how important pricing can be. This top performing host was able to dominate the competition, and they did it by striking the perfect balance between nightly rate and occupancy rate. They managed to keep their property booked 92% of the time at an average nightly rate of $451. Beautiful. Not too high, not too low. Their numbers were just right. And the key to achieving this is data-driven pricing. This host made an extra $63,000 in 1 year, and they didn't need to spend money on interior design or amenities or photography to do it. They did it by setting a high nightly rate so that they wouldn't be leaving money on the table, and lowering that nightly rate when necessary to keep the property booked. And this is a perfect example of just how important pricing is when you've got a great property and a great listing. If you want to nail pricing on your own listing, then consider joining B&B Tribe. If you're like most hosts, it'll likely earn you tens of thousands of dollars in extra bookings every single year. So there's never been a better time to join than right now. Figuring everything out and setting it all up on your own can be a daunting and overwhelming task. But when you join B&B Tribe, you'll get step-by-step guidance that'll make it easy and painless. So click the link in the description down below to see everything that B&B Tribe has to offer. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.